Welcome to Auntie Mel Mel Life Unfiltered, the podcast where we say the things everyone else whispers, feels, or pretends they're totally fine about. Around here, nothing is too awkward, too messy, or too, oh my god, did she really just say that? Yes, I did. This is your space for real talk, real stories, real emotions, and the kind of honesty that makes you laugh, cry, and heal a little. Sometimes all at once. So grab your drink, get comfy, and let's dive in. Because life's too short to sugarcoat it, and I'm not here to do that anyway. Welcome to Auntie Mel Mel Life Unfiltered. Let's get into it. Before we start, I want to gently let you know that today's episode includes conversations about domestic violence, marital rape, sexual abuse, and adoption-related trauma. We speak honestly about these experiences. If this feels heavy for you, it's okay to pause or step away. Your well-being comes first. We'll share support resources at the end of the episode. Welcome back to Auntie Mel Mel Life Unfiltered. Today I'm joined by Cassidy and Chrystyna to talk about adoption, abuse, survival, and what it really looks like to find your voice on the other side. We get into how adoption and abandonment can shape relationships, what abuse actually looks like when you're living in it, and why so many signs are missed by others and by ourselves. This conversation may get detailed, but it's honest, real, and important. Let's get into it. Welcome, ladies. Thank you for joining me today.
Hi. Thank you for having us.
Hello. Yeah, if you guys both want to maybe introduce yourselves and share a little bit about your day-to-day life, kids, pets, anything like that, fun stuff.
Ooh. My name is Chrystyna. I'm 29. Currently working on my master's in social work. I have my bachelor's degree. I just actually got my LSW, or my license in social work.
Awesome.
I have been married for 7 years, and I have 4 dogs that I absolutely love and no children.
Awesome.
Um, my name is Cassidy. I'm currently working on my Associate of Arts degree for social work as well. I currently run my own in-home daycare. I've been doing that for the last 7 years. I've been working in childcare for about 8 years. I have 1 daughter. She's 6, and I've been married for almost 4 years.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. That's great that you both are continuing your education. You're both doing social work or
Sure.
counseling, things like that. That's amazing. So I'm sure that plays a lot into your growing up and things
Yeah,
that you guys went through and wanting to be there for other people. So that's amazing.
for sure.
So you guys were adopted. Can you share a little bit about what growing up adopted was like for you?
I will just say that all of my siblings were adopted. My parents were foster parents first, so they were able to foster through Huron County and Erie County, I believe. I also believe up in Cleveland as well. That's where most of my siblings we originated from, was Cleveland and Toledo area. They were fostering. They fostered 15 children plus the 6 of us, so I think there was around 20 or so kids at the time. And this is in the early 90s, so it was like anywhere from, like early 90s to 96, and that's when we were born, was in 96. So that was probably one of the bigger things. It's me and her, and then we have an older brother, an older sister, and then we have another brother as well that we just recently found out about. So
Oh
so there's
wow.
7 of
Yeah.
us. Yeah, there's 7 of
Yeah.
us. We're not all biologically related, obviously we're related by adoption, but I think growing up for us, because our parents are of a different race than us,
Mm,
I don't think it was hard to know. I didn't necessarily know what adoption was, but I knew that we were not related, if that makes sense.
right. Yeah.
Um, it was always strange, I think, growing up in the early 2000s, it probably until now. A lot of people, we dealt with a lot of like racism,
Hmm.
especially from like, biological family members too, just not quite understanding why she would not go out and adopt white children and she
Mm,
would adopt black children.
hmm.
But my mom was a very big advocate on like race. Like, she hates hearing like the N-word. She's kind of, she's always the person that's like, let them stare, it's fine, who cares?
Hmm.
They don't know what's going on. But yeah, it definitely shaped who I am now as a person, and obviously the field that I, chose to be in too.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yes. Yeah, that's important. That's great that she, could be like that and put all the stigmas and, all the people saying crap behind you guys and say, don't listen to that, make you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
stronger. They loved who you are. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. So, and, I'm sure they wanted to have children and there was their reasons why
Mhm.
they couldn't, or that was always their dream to foster or adopt. And to do that is very selfless. It's very caring and it's very much needed. So
For sure.
I've talked to a couple other people that have adopted and fostered first, and it's something that's not easy, and people think it's so easy, and it's not. So,
Yeah, what's the easy part, I feel like a lot of people assume that they're gonna get these kids that are, unfazed and untraumatized, and they're
hmm
assuming that, oh, they're gonna just get this happy-go-lucky kid, and, no matter the age, I genuinely believe and know that there's gonna be trauma regardless of their age. At some
absolutely,
point, at some point, they're gonna grow up and realize that, "Hey, this is somebody that's not necessarily biologically related to me," and it doesn't take away from, like, the love you feel for, your foster or your adopted parents, but it does, there's always going to be that kind of like nagging feeling of like, why was I adopted? Why didn't my biological family or parents want me? So that's something that I feel like when you want to foster or you want to adopt, that's something you should definitely look into if you're able to kind of communicate with them. Because I know with us, we weren't allowed to necessarily know our biological family until we hit a certain age. So that was
right.
definitely something that you would, if you wanted to foster or adopt, to look into for sure.
Yeah, that's so important. That's
Yes.
very important that you mentioned that. A lot of people think it's just going to be sunshine and rainbows. They don't really think about all the hard parts and what you guys, want to learn where you came from. It's so important to
Mhm.
know where you came from and who your family is. And it plays a part in your genetics or having your own kids, your health concerns, things like that.
Mhm.
So,
For sure.
did feelings of abandonment or insecurity show up when you were younger, or did that come later in life?
Oh, that's a good question. So the abandonment part I was unaware of, until I wanna say until I was, like, 15.
hmm
I started going we start me and my sister, I will say, started going to therapy. And obviously, like, I'm like, "I just feel like no one cares about me.
hmm
I just feel like no one loves me." Like, we do have a very, supportive mom and dad
Yeah.
too, so that was
hmm
and then the therapist tells me like, "Well, you were adopted, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, do you ever think that you were dealing with abandonment?" And
Mm,
it's just not something because
right.
we were adopted at 2 months old, 2 right?
Mhm.
months old, yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
like, you don't think that you would have those feelings because 'cause I've never been, like, the foster system or anything
No,
like
yeah.
that. We
Mhm.
were adopted right as we were born.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, then you think about it, you're like, "Oh, I have family out there that I never actually got to see or got to meet," like, and then you think about, like, why did she give me up?
Yeah.
At
Mhm.
15, you're like thinking, oh, she just didn't want me. Obviously, now I'm 29. I know like what my biological mother was dealing with and all that other stuff.
Mm,
And I'm so
mhm.
thankful for her for giving us up and letting us have a better life.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
definitely dealt with abandonment. I think race also played a huge part in it too.
Yeah.
We live in a predominantly white area, especially growing up in the late 90s, early
Mhm.
2000s,
Yeah.
where our beauty standards now were not where they were back then.
No. Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so that also played a big part in, like, self-esteem issues, and then the abandonment was just, like, right there next to it. Yeah, and that's why I
Yeah.
kinda tried to explain to people if you are adopting or fostering a child, um, I know when we weren't adopted right off the rip, but, my biological mom had a opportunity to be able to, meet us in a mutual place, and we would have my adopted parents would have to drive us there, and we'd have to wait for her for so long to show up. And I know she only showed up 1 or 2 times, and then
Mm.
after that point, then we were legally adopted, and all the other proceedings had kind of went through. So I think that's one of the bigger things when it comes to fostering and adopting is really making sure those are things that you can do for that child, because it
Yeah.
doesn't matter at what age they're adopted, they're always gonna, I feel like, have that trauma and that
Mhm.
abandonment feeling at some point, whether it hits you at a young age or whether it hits you at 29, 30 years old. At some
Mhm.
point, you're gonna still feel that. Mhm.
Absolutely, yeah. That's just not something that can not be expected or not come eventually. It may come at different points in your life, as you guys
Mhm.
said, and you were adopted so young. I'm sure when you were way younger, it didn't really occur to you as much. But
Mhm.
as you said, growing up in the area that you did, there wasn't a lot of, race did play a big part in it, I'm sure,
Mhm.
especially in Huron County. So
Yeah,
I've been
yeah.
there myself. I understand. So I live in New London. I graduated from New London, so we didn't have a lot of race in our little town, but I was friends with everybody of all kinds of walks of life. So I've never been one to judge or look down on anybody for that, and we shouldn't, of course, but unfortunately it's here, and especially in these little rural areas. So looking back now, do you how do you see adoption may have shaped you into the person that you are today, or how
I
you
think
view relationships?
I think for me, it was one of those things where, um, you kinda cling to people very
Mm.
easily.
Mhm.
The fear of people leaving you is very strong, so you almost get walked all over.
Mhm.
You allow people to kind of push you past you're comfortable, how you feel about yourself. You almost allow people to abuse you to an
Mhm.
extent of you don't recognize yourself. You don't feel like, oh, but you just being adopted, having the abandonment issue that I still, even at 29, have. You kind of allow people just to stay in your life, even if they've already wore out their welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely think me being adopted like plays a huge role in my life too now. Um me and my husband, I will say, had chosen not to have children, and it had nothing for me. I'm sure it does play a little part in it,
Yeah.
but I just want to live my life for me. And I know that sometimes for some people it can sound selfish, but for me, just with what I went through growing up, I would just rather not do any of that.
Yeah.
Right.
It also has shaped like the career I've decided to go into. Before I worked, now I would be a therapist counselor. I worked in sexual assault a lot. So I would
Mhm.
see a lot of children come through the foster care system who were, abused, sexually. Um, and that's always been I've always wanted to help children in that way. Maybe not necessarily child protective services. I think they do an amazing, amazing job. But
Mhm.
seeing that, and I don't think people realize the damage they do to certain children. And there's not a
Yeah.
whole lot at a certain age, there's not a whole lot that foster parents or adoptive parents can do if they have a child that's experienced that, except for like love them and hope that it turns out okay.
Right.
But it's played a huge part in my life, the career path I've chosen, the life that I've chosen to kind of follow by, just mirroring what Cassidy said. Um, if you grow up not having any values, or that fear of abandonment, you grow up not having any values.
Mhm.
So that
Mhm.
you just kind of fall for whatever everyone's telling you. And I know
Yeah.
from probably 18 to 21, I was with men that I use the term men loosely, but I was with people that did not actually want to be with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and I would just let them do whatever, because I was like, I'd rather have someone here that's treating me like crap than be
Mhm.
alone.
Yeah.
And
Right.
now I feel there's so much power in being by yourself. I've been married for 7 years, and I still love, just going to my room, being by myself. I know he's
Yeah.
going to be there,
Yeah.
but there's nothing wrong with being alone.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's so important, to know you need your space, you can take your alone time, and being
Hmm.
in a relationship with somebody that understands that and gives that to you is so important.
Hmm.
Definitely, just looking for someone to love you, to feel that love, feel accepted, you go through things that most people wouldn't put up with just because you don't know any better or you just want to feel important to those people. So I completely understand that. That kind of takes us into our next topic. Cassidy, if you want to share a little bit about your domestic violence story,
Yeah.
how it started or what it looked like at first and how things kind of changed over time.
It really plays into a part in the not wanting to feel abandoned. There was a lot of red flags in the beginning of my relationship. I was very young when I got married. The first time I got married, I got married at 20, but we were together when I was 16, 17 years old. And up until that point, I never had a serious boyfriend, if that's the word you want to
Mm,
use.
mhm,
So it's one of those things where I kind of got into it and fell fully head into wanting to be with somebody and wanting him to be with me and just wanting him to like me and just um I fully engrossed myself into him as a person. We were married for a very short amount of time, but within that short time span, was a lot of abuse, verbal, physical, emotional, a lot of cheating on his end, and a lot of extremely scary moments. I just remember waking up one day and being like, "This can't be the life that I'm supposed to live."
mhm.
So,
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Um, for someone that has never been in an abusive relationship, how would you describe what your really day to day was like?
Mm.
I always tell my sister this. It's one of those things, especially towards the end. I felt like I was holding my breath.
Mm,
It's one of
yeah.
those things where you're always afraid. Your body's always on edge. It's like a stray dog feeling when you walk up to a stray dog and their hair goes up and
Yeah.
their tail stiff. That's how I would describe it for sure. You never know what's going to set this person off.
Right.
Um, anything, even just, I feel like breathing at times. That's why I tell people all the time, I felt like I was holding my breath a lot, because
Yeah.
even breathing, I just feel like would really like anger him as a person.
Yeah.
And then later on, and after I was separated from him, I realized that it was more so because he just hated me as a person. So that's definitely, I would use kind of like describe it, that just stray dog where you're walking up to a dog, but they don't know you're behind them, and they get all
Mhm.
stiff and their hair goes up. It's just, that would be like my day to day feelings, because I would go to work and I was stressed out and exhausted. I wasn't really able to even go to like friend's house. At that point, and I didn't really have friends. He had isolated me from the
Mhm.
majority of my family, my friends. Even going to her house, like she's literally my best friend, and my twin sister was one of
Yeah.
those things where I'd be at her house and I'd be freaking out, looking at my phone, waiting for him to blow my phone up.
Mm.
Anytime I did leave, if I was gone longer than he expected me to be, I would come home to a destroyed house.
Mm.
And at the time we had an apartment, so
Mhm.
every damaged thing that we had to replace was cost me money that I did not have. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That would be so hard to live in that fear, like you said, not even sure if you can breathe day to day, always being on
yes.
edge, not being able to reach out to anybody because you are isolated from everybody,
Mhm.
especially your twin sister. That's horrible. And that had to be so hard. Thank you for sharing that with us. I can't imagine. Did you blame yourself a lot at first, or did it take you time to realize that it was him, or did you think it was you?
Um, I don't necessarily think I blamed myself. I definitely looked
Hmm.
at myself negatively, though. I didn't blame myself like, "Oh, he's cheating because I'm not good enough," but it was more
Hmm.
like, what should I be doing that make him not want to cheat? Because I remember at a point where I'm like, well, if I'm around him all the time and we're always out together, or if he's in my sights, I'll be able to control if he's cheating on me,
Right.
or control like the narrative that. And there was a point when we went to breakfast with my sister and her husband, and we were sitting right next to each other, and he was on his phone, and I look over and he's texting other women, and I'm like, there's never going to be a time where he doesn't feel like he wants to cheat. I think that was honestly an eye-opening moment for me, where it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, it doesn't matter where we're at, who we're with, he's gonna
Hmm.
find a way to cheat on me. So
Yeah.
that was a big one for
Absolutely.
sure.
He's gonna do it no matter what, whether you're
Yeah.
there or not. He doesn't care. He's
No.
already being abusive in every way
Yeah.
possible, so he
Yeah,
could
he
care
didn't
less if
care.
you saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he didn't care who he cheated on me with either. There's people that I know personally, friends, one in particular, a woman that at the time we allowed to stay with us.
Oh gosh.
When I would go to work, he would cheat on me with her. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's horrible. I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
Was
No, it's
there
okay.
a turning point or a moment? I mean, you don't have to go into much detail. If it's too hard for you that made
Should
you
I say
just
it?
leave or something that happened that just, this I can't do this
Should I say
anymore.
it? There was like there was actually two. The first one was there was a night where we had been fighting for like a full week straight. And I just remember having bags under my eyes, because at the time I worked third shift. I had come home. I was in school at this point. I had come home. I was gonna take a nap before I had to go to work. He had come home either drunk or high off of something, unfortunately. And I just remember him getting extremely pissed off at me for whatever reason. And at this point, he had grabbed my head and had smashed it into our wall. And I remember he had left or walked out or something, but I remember grabbing my phone and I texted my sister and my mom, and I said, "Hey, I just want you to know that if you find me dead or I'm dead, just know I did not kill myself." Because I
Oh
know at
gosh.
that point that he would have told people that I had taken my own life, that I was depressed or whatever. He would have told people, "Hey, she killed herself." And I just
Mhm.
wanted them to have proof. Hey, if you find me dead, I did not kill myself.
Yeah. Ugh.
And then the other one would be this at this point, I was packing up my things to leave. He had already destroyed most of my belongings. My sister and her husband were there with me, and we were um, escorted by police to my own apartment. They said, the police, unfortunately, they said, "Go in, get your stuff, and get out." I said, "Okay." Me thinking that I was gonna be able to go in, get my things, and have a police officer there the entire time.
Right.
That unfortunately did not happen. Not only was he in the apartment with me, but the police had left at this point.
Oh my goodness.
And then my sister was walking out to put boxes into her truck, and he had slammed the door and locked it.
Oh no.
And at that moment, I was like, "This is where I die. I was like, there's no way he's letting me walk out of here. I genuinely believed that it was going to be like a murder suicide kind of thing. I'm sorry. But it was one of those
No,
things
you're
where
fine.
I was trapped in the apartment and there was no police outside. They had left. My sister and her husband were banging on the door trying to break it down. I had my dog at this point. He's a big black pit bull. And at this point, everything was like, the noise was gone. I couldn't hear anything. I was like, this is where I'm going to die. I was like, he's going to kill me before I walk out of this. Thankfully, I had my dog with me, like I said, and he was in between us. And I could see the door from where I was standing, and I was like, he's going to catch me if I try to run. Thankfully, he had gotten aggressive enough to where my dog was spooked, and he had grabbed the back part of his leg and bit him. I let go of the leash, and I hightailed it to the door. Thankfully, my sister was standing right there, so she was able to kind of fling it open and grab me. And that was one of those things where I was like, that could have been just as worse. And I know with her being there, it was just, yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely horrible. Yeah, that's so scary. I'm so sorry you had to live that. I'm so glad that you came out. And I mean, that's not to put down law enforcement or anything, but a lot of times that's one reason why people don't leave is they try to get help. And a lot of times is we can't do anything until something happens. Well, then it's too late. Like, unfortunately, that case in Tiffin a couple of months ago, like, it was too late at that point. Like, nobody could help at that point. They, it's almost like they want someone to get murdered for them to make a difference. So.
And that's why when people are like, well, why didn't you just leave? And that's always like the biggest thing. Well, why didn't you, if you knew he was this bad person, why didn't you leave? It's like, there's always two parts to that. It's like, on one hand, you want them to be better. You want them to change. You always kind of cling on to like the good, happy moments. And then a lot of people don't realize that when you are trying to leave, that's the most dangerous part of the relationship is after, especially if you're dating a narcissist like I was, after they lose control of you, that's when it becomes more dangerous because he would be texting me, calling me at all hours of the night, driving past the home that I was living at, saying that he was going to unalive himself out in front of so I can see that he was no longer with us and that he would come by my where I was living at and try to like just destroy the home that I was staying at. I was never really alone. He was coming to my work because at the time I had worked at Walmart. He was coming into my work. I was actually working and I remember leaving and coming out and they're like, hey, did you see the hood of the trunk of your car? And I'm like, no. And he had carved fuck you into the trunk of my car. And it's just one of those things where at the time I had no money, so I couldn't get anything detailed or replaced or so I just driving around town with a big old fuck you on the back of my car. So
goodness gracious. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, and you said it too, is the narcissism. That is a huge part in that, and the manipulation that comes with that. And once they lose that control, it makes them even angrier. So
yes.
absolutely. I know people in my own personal life, once they were separated, it wasn't as abusive or anything, but they just stalked them, constantly showed up where they were, always interfering, knew every moment of their life. So that's so scary because you finally get out of it, but you're still living in that fear every single day.
For sure.
Chrystyna, being the sister and seeing your sister go through all that, how did that motivate you, or did that help you want to go into the sex abuse advocacy that you do?
She's definitely that whole situation she went through, like definitely was like a big impact for me. But definitely a big influencer. I think she says it best just because she's experienced it. Working in that field, I myself can personally never truly relate to the women and men that would come in and children that would come in.
Absolutely.
When I did work there, obviously get permission to kind of share her story from her with them. And sometimes she would be there with me too. People don't realize how much rationalizing that women and men go through. First of all, they don't realize it's happening when it starts. Like, it never starts out as extreme violence, in my opinion. It always starts out as, especially with like a narcissist, I feel like it starts out as little insults here and there, maybe a shove. I know there was a couple instances when me and my husband first got together, we would go to their house for dinner and just you could just feel it in the air. We would constantly throw insults at her and me as a sister. I'm like, hey, like what is going on? Like, why are you saying this stuff? So then after a while, of her not defending herself, I was like, you're just letting it happen to you. And I was very vocal about that with her. I'm like, he's just saying all this stuff and you're sitting there. And then you realize, like, I get to go home.
Yeah.
She has
Right.
to stay there. If she says something, I go home. She has
Yeah.
to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've shared this before too, but it's definitely when I would work in sexual assault too, that was the biggest thing, was like, I didn't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
They, have run my family completely off because of the things they say, and I'm not gonna
Mhm.
lie, it made me want to stay away too. I'm like, I don't want to go over to that
Yeah.
house and have to sit
Absolutely.
in that awkwardness. I'm sure it happens to
And
women all the
at the
time.
time, if I would go out with her,
Mhm.
he was blowing my phone up. You
Mhm.
better get back. Oh, I think it's fucked up that you could be out with your sister when I'm going through this hard of a time.
And
And
it was never a time. Like,
no,
it was just,
Yeah.
she wasn't there.
yeah,
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely, even now, like with counseling and stuff like that, I always ask, obviously, permission to share her story, because
Mhm.
I just never had to go through something like that.
Yeah.
But there's always like a pattern for me.
yeah,
And every woman's like, or a man, I keep saying women, but
Mhm.
man situation too, where it's like that he just out of nowhere, but then, family members say it was just out of nowhere, but then they're like, no, he, will wake me up in the middle of the night when he knows I have to be up the next
yep.
day. He will make fun of me in front of people
He'll,
just to kind of,
he'll keep me
if I
up all
go to the
day.
grocery store, he's got to go with me. Or he is blowing up my phone. I can't make any sort of like minute mistake that like normal people would make. Like, God forbid I burn a piece of chicken. It's supposed to be
Right.
funny and a joke, but then it turns into this big thing. So,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I tell her all the time. She's definitely like, especially when I worked in that, she definitely influenced my like decision to go in that field. Yeah.
Yeah. That's absolutely amazing that, that you can use some of her
Hmm.
stories and things that she went through to help you heal other people, and that's so important. And that's one reason I'm doing this podcast, is I want people to be able to come on and share their stories openly so other people know they're not alone. So many people are scared to reach out or say anything or think it's just them going through it.
yeah,
And it's so important. And I know it's hard for us to share the things that we went through, but it's also healing. Um, and honestly, like, a lot of people say, like, they wouldn't change anything, as bad as that sounds,
yeah,
because it made them who they are today and
Mhm.
strengthened the women and the person that they have become. So,
for sure, for
absolutely.
sure.
That's so important that you guys have that connection. Was it hard for other family members, or did anyone else try to help you in the end, or, was everybody just gone at that point, or?
It would definitely, I always tell people, I'm like, I felt like because I got in the relationship so young, I felt like I didn't really get to live as like a normal, teenager to
Mm-hmm.
like to 20-year-old. So it was
Right.
definitely like rebuilding friendships and making friendships, because at that point I really didn't have any of my friends. A lot of my
Mm-hmm.
friends had either moved away going to college or just moved away in general. Um,
Right.
Definitely towards the end,
Mhm.
my family was always just 110% had my back. Like, my mom with
Yeah.
me multiple times to move my stuff. My dad, my sister, even just like just people I know, they were like, hey, we'll help you, whatever you need. And at the time I didn't have money for a divorce, so my sister, one of my really really good friends, her name's Katie, they gave me money to get
Oh,
my divorce.
Mhm.
that's
um
amazing.
so it was just one of those things where it's just like I'm extremely grateful for the people that stayed in my life, and
Mm-hmm.
allowed me to have that shoulder to kind of cry on and take a moment to myself and take a breath, for sure.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. What was the moment when you started to feel, maybe not yourself again, because you kind of had to rebuild who you were, especially as you said you were in that relationship since you were a teenager. So then you were kind of in full adulthood at that point.
Yeah.
When did you start feeling more positive about yourself, or maybe a new relationship, or when did you start, going out and having fun or feeling yourself again?
For sure. My husband that I'm married to right now, his name is Ryan. Absolutely wonderful, fantastic person in the world. But he had invited me and my sister and her husband out to a bar. And at
Oh.
that point, I had not gone out or done
Mhm.
any type of like bar excursions or drinking, or having a good time. He's like,
Mhm.
"Hey, my friend's having a birthday party. I want to bring you." And I said, "Okay, perfect. My sister is gonna come. Her husband's gonna come. We're gonna have a good
I
time."
wasn't married at the time.
Yeah. We got all dressed up. I did my hair. I was feeling good about myself. And he's just, he has my hand. He's walking me around the bar, introducing me to all his friends.
Aw.
And it's one of those things where I'm looking at him. I'm like, and my sister's like, this is normal. This is how it's supposed to
Yes.
be. The person
Yes.
you're with is supposed to be excited to introduce you to these people. And
Yeah.
I have never experienced that because my
You
ex,
also shouldn't have to feel worried
yeah,
that you're gonna get kicked out because he's overly
yes, and that
intoxicated
was a
or
Mhm.
big thing.
Yeah.
looking over your shoulder to see if he left you at the bar by
Yeah,
yourself to go with somebody else.
Yeah.
So that's all. That was, and I remember that night too.
yeah,
Just like to be able to go out and not have to worry about
yes.
anything and just
Yeah.
be. We were probably like 22,
We had
23 at the time.
20, 22, 23. Yeah,
Yeah, so and I didn't really go to a lot of bars, but not because of any relationship. I just was
yeah,
by myself.
yeah.
Not your
But
scene, yeah.
yeah, so that was
It
definitely
was
I would
just,
definitely
yeah.
say that was probably that night where it's like, oh, I get to live
I can do this
now.
as an adult and not have to work. Because unfortunately, my ex was an extreme alcoholic, an extreme drug addict. So anytime we did go out, I was always worried. There was one night when I went out with my ex to a bar with my cousin, and he was completely trashed.
Mm.
People had to carry him out of the bar into a vehicle to take him home, kind of thing. But going out with my husband Ryan, I was just able to kind of let loose and enjoy being in the moment. We were dancing, people were drinking and having a good time, eating food. So that was definitely the moment where I was like, okay, this is normal. This is what normal feels like. So yeah, very grateful for that.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. That's great that you finally had that moment and you can actually pinpoint that moment. And yeah,
Yes.
that's so scary. And I personally have alcoholics in my family and deal with that. And I have that kind of relationship too, is like I'm bad about mothering, like, even if somebody has one drink or
Yeah.
something, I'm always, like, on edge or making sure everybody's okay, so it's hard to stop that. It's hard
Mhm.
to just, like, let loose and have fun, so I can't imagine all the emotions that you were feeling, but that is awesome that you finally had that freeing moment, and that relationship that showed you that not everybody's like that, this is the correct way to be,
Right.
and you deserve that so much, so
Thank you.
yes. How did surviving this change the way you see yourself?
Ooh,
um,
those are good questions.
I was gonna say
Thank
these are
you.
just wonderful questions.
Thank you.
Um,
How
I
did
am
surviving do you see yourself?
I genuinely believe and can see myself as a strong person. I'm very good at spotting narcissistic behavior now.
Mm.
Mhm.
I have a lot of friends that were unfortunately in narcissistic relationships. I'm like, no, he's not the one, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm able to kind of advocate for myself now. I don't put up with bullshit anymore from people,
Mhm.
whether it's relationship or friendship. I just
Or even
don't.
like family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
family. I just don't put up with like the bull crap anymore. It's
Yeah.
one of those things where I can fully see myself as a strong person.
Mm-hmm.
There are days where, certain things will happen or trigger me where I'm like, oh shoot. Especially in the beginning when I first got with my husband, there was like, he's not a yeller or a screamer, but there's, if he would say something or do something, or like, even like sometimes it would be like a deep sigh, I would like freak
Mhm.
out. Like, oh, what did I do wrong? Am I, no,
Mhm.
and he would have to like reassure me,
Mm-hmm.
like, no, you're fine. Like, you're good. Like, and it took a very long time for me to get to that point of like, stop apologizing for everything.
Yes.
Even if it was something I did to myself, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. There's times where I would just constantly apologize for things, and he's
Mhm.
like, you don't have to always say you're sorry. It's
Mm-hmm.
not always
Yeah.
your fault. Or so I definitely see myself as a stronger person for going through that.
Yeah. I always tell her
Absolutely.
too, like there's times where like there's certain things that she's going through, right? And I'll tell her, like, you've gone through probably the two hardest things that I think any person can do. You've given birth to a child
Yeah.
and you survived if partnership.
Yes.
Mhm.
Why can't you not, go back to college? Why can you not open your own business? You know what I mean? Like that
Yeah.
seems if you look at it from that point of view, that seems very minuscule comparatively. Like you went from 16 to 20 and with someone who treated you like you were below the earth.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then you gave birth, to a human being,
Yeah.
which I think is
Mhm.
one of the most powerful things in the world, if not the most
Absolutely.
powerful things. You could do anything now. And I think just reminding her of that, and I think sometimes she reminds herself and they're like, oh, I've given birth, this isn't anything.
Yeah. I encourage women that if you've ever given birth and you're going through something hard, just remember the pain
Mm-hmm.
of giving did it, especially women, mostly women that have like C-sections and stuff like that, because
Oh, yeah.
I had a natural birth. Like I know a lot of women that if you can get through that, you can get literally through anything. The pain,
Yeah.
I always tell people, I'm like, oh, if I stub my toe, I'm like, oh, that doesn't hurt. I've given birth,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like a running. Oh, I've given birth, like that don't hurt nothing. I'd have to get hit by this, but
Yeah.
um,
Right. Yes, that's important. That's amazing. Yes, you are so strong for everything that you did, and it's great that you're using it and that, you see all the red flags, and you can be an advocate for your friends and family,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, I'm sure there was a lot of hard times with you and your husband in the beginning, with him
Yeah.
having to adjust to everything that you were going through. And like you said,
Yeah.
I'm somebody that uses sorry a lot. I've been told that my whole life. Stop apologizing, and then you want
Right.
to say sorry again, and you're like, and
Right.
they're
You're like,
like, stop. So like it does have a lot to do with, a lot of different reasons why some of us are that way. But yeah, it's so important to try to get yourself out of that mindset
mhm,
and to use your hard times to better your life. And like you guys said, like
definitely.
you went through all this stuff, you can keep going. You can do or be anybody that you want to be. There's nothing stopping you. So,
Yes.
Mhm.
what do you wish someone had told you when you were still in it?
Ooh, probably everything I told you. Definitely like,
Yeah.
definitely you don't deserve this. I'm sure
Mhm.
people at some
That's
point
not
people have told
normal.
me this isn't normal. And I will just say from the
He
beginning,
does not love you. This is not love.
yeah, from the
Mm,
beginning, just as a younger girl, being a prey to older men. And I
mhm.
know there's many, many girls, women that can say the exact same story. You are not mature for your age. The guy
Yeah.
is just a creep. If I
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
go back and tell myself that as a young child, you are not mature for your age. He's just a creep and a weirdo. Run the other way. And I will say
Yeah.
that to any girl,
Mhm.
that's under a certain age, and a lot of men, there's no reason why you at 16 should be talking to someone that's 22, 23,
Oh yeah.
24, 25, 30, 40. You are not mature. He's just a weirdo.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that'd be like the biggest one. You don't deserve this, and he doesn't like you.
You're not
Um,
mature for your age.
and you are not mature for your age.
Yeah.
For
Yeah, that's
sure.
some great advice, and I think a lot of it, I'm a tad bit older than you guys. I was born in '87, so
Gotcha.
about 10 years, not quite 10 years, but growing up in the area that we did, it was
Mhm.
very common, especially in the early 2000s, for 16-year-olds to be with 20-year-olds, be with
Yes.
21-year-olds. It was so the norm in our area. Like
Yeah.
I myself, I always dated like older guys and stuff like that. But like as you said, like that's not right.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
they're looking for somebody that's underage still, that's a red flag, definitely. So
The other thing would be like you shouldn't you don't be with someone that wants to keep your relationship a secret.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, goodness
that was a big
Yeah,
one
that's
for
a
me.
good one.
Oh,
Even
gosh.
before my ex-husband, it was like I would talk to men and they're like, "Oh, well, I really, really like you, but I don't want you to tell anybody." And it's just like, "Okay, that's fine, but like, why?" You know what I mean? Like as an
Yeah.
adult now, I'm like, "No, I'm good. I'm very
Yeah.
secure of myself as a person, what I bring to the table, if you want to say that." So I
Mhm.
just know now I would never put up with any of that bullshit
Yeah. I
for sure.
absolutely, especially as someone that's a plus size woman, that was
Yes.
something, I always hidden like, oh,
Yeah.
but why? Now I'm like, I would never ever let someone treat me
Never. I'm
like
like,
that.
"All right."
Why would I ever do that?
For sure, I agree 100%. You should not be a
Yes.
secret. I'm like, I know
No.
exactly who I am. I know what I got. I will bring it all to the table. If you don't
Yep.
wanna eat, go somewhere else.
Right, exactly. Yes. There's somebody for everybody. There's somebody that loves you
Yes.
as you are.
Mhm.
Don't chase. Don't chase. It's
No.
not worth it. And if you're doing that, then it's not a good relationship from the beginning. So,
Mhm.
absolutely not. That was mostly all the questions that I had for you ladies. You guys have anything else you would like to touch on or share today or anything else?
No, I
No, I
think
think
we
we're yeah, I was gonna
yeah.
say I think we're good.
Okay. I'll do some fun. We always end with rapid fire questions just to lighten the mood a little bit. So
Right.
these are just, this or that, and you guys can touch on it a little more. So let's see here. Coffee or
Okay.
tea?
Tea.
Tea, both of you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hot tea or iced tea?
Either one.
Either one, yeah. It just
Yeah.
depends
Neither
on the
one.
day too, though. If it's a
Yeah.
cold day, I'm gonna get a little hot cup of tea. If we're
Right.
going out and like we have like a cute little iced tea,
Yeah,
that's
it's
great.
iced tea, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love iced tea. I'm trying to get more into hot tea, especially doing my podcast. I work from home and I'm in customer
Mhm.
service. So I'm on the phone and then doing my podcast. My voice lately has been
Oh,
kind of
oh
like
yeah.
scratchy, so I got to start like getting into tea a little bit more myself. So
Yeah.
yes, favorite comfort food.
Oh gosh, that's a big one for me. My favorite comfort food is probably like Mexican,
Yeah.
Mm.
or like a pasta. It's the
Oh,
easiest
yep.
thing for me. Um,
She got me into chicken salad and
oh,
or like
that's a comfort food?
it's not a comfort food, but,
Oh,
definitely if I would like if someone's like, "Oh,
a
let's go get
chicken
something that's
salad.
warm," like it's definitely tacos. I'm gonna just do a little shout out. It's Quesabroso in Norwalk. They have quesadilla and it's I
If you ever
can't
get a
go
chance
with
to do
that
it.
chicken
I'm
salad.
but like I like it. Like I love the chicken salad. I
It's a
do.
comfort food.
But tacos for sure. Anything
Yeah.
Mexican taco,
Yeah.
Oh,
anything
yeah.
like that for sure.
That's definitely something Norwalk has is some good Mexican restaurants, especially
Yes.
Casa Bravos. I always get the chicken with the poblano peppers and everything. That's my favorite. So
Ooh.
yeah, that's delicious. Comfort movie or favorite comfort show?
Comfort show hands down is Bob's
Bob's Burgers,
Burgers.
100%.
Bob's
Nice.
Burgers. That's always playing in the background if you come to my house. I've probably watched the movie 1,000
Yeah.
times. Every episode
Yeah.
probably watched it a good 400 times.
Yeah. My comfort movie is The Wedding Singer with
Oh,
Auntie
nice.
and Drew Barrymore. That's
Yeah, my movies changed. It used to be my comfort movie used to be Avengers Age of Ultron.
yeah.
And
Okay.
now I feel like it is
Longest Yard.
The Longest Yard. The
Oh,
Longest Yard
nice.
is so good. Anything that I can just put on and it's in the background, like it really
There's
Yeah.
is.
like a comedy movie I'm trying to think of that like we actually both like, but I can't remember what it was. But
Oh,
yeah.
Bob's Burgers. That's my niece's favorite show. They're 12 and 11 now, and since
Oh,
they were infants, my brother that was
It's-
their background movie show.
it's-
So
yeah.
they
so-
dress up as the whole family for Halloween and
Oh, I
everything like
love
that. So
I love it.
yeah,
It's
they've
like
been watching like Bob's Burgers and
it's so
Family
good.
Guy and all that stuff since they were infants. So
I love it.
song or artist you always come back to?
Ooh, right now, currently, I have two. Olivia Dean.
Mhm.
I'm obsessed with her. I love her so much. And Giveon.
Oh, I was just about
Like
to say.
nice.
he is, there's something about that man's voice. And
Mm.
and I'm just in my old age. If you asked us 15 years ago, it would have been Nicki Minaj, but we don't do Nicki Minaj.
Hey, that's
So
okay.
yeah, Olivia Dean and Giveon.
Yes, I
So
was gonna
Yeah.
say, right now for me would definitely be Giveon or Bruno Mars.
oh,
Nice.
or the Jonas Brothers.
Or the Jonas Brothers.
Kevin.
You wanna send us Jonas Brothers when we're down.
Yeah.
We love the Jonas Brothers.
Yeah, that's great. I am a huge R&B person. I've always loved R&B. Like Keith
Oh,
Sweat's one of my favorite. Trey Songz has always been one of my favorites. But I love Giveon. Oh, I love Giveon
Yeah.
too. So Miguel, that's always one of my favorites. I love all of that. I listen to everything. So and I
Mhm.
use Jam Nicki Minaj. That was one of my going out to the dance and shake my butt back in the day.
Yes.
All that type of music. So
Right.
go to self-care thing that actually works for you.
A nap.
A
Yeah.
nap.
If I'm
Yeah.
having a rough day or I just need a minute, I'm gonna take a nap.
Oh,
Don't ask
yeah.
me how if it's gonna be take a nap before. Like if we're going out somewhere, I need a nap before we go out.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna try to be cute and be like, I'm a
My-
bath.
yeah,
Wait, it's a bath. I don't take baths.
yeah,
It is a
Yeah.
nap.
I'm gonna need a fat cat nap.
If I had a rough day, I come home and take a nap. I wake up better. If I have a headache, I'm taking a nap. Like it's
If I'm cold, I'm taking a nap. If I'm just got done eating, I'm taking it. People are like, I was like,
That's
I was
great.
like going to the gym. I was gonna be like working out. It's a nap.
That's great that you guys both have the same, being twins
I
and
was gonna-
everything, you both like to nap.
I was gonna try to be like, I go to the gym and clear my brain. No, I'm taking a nap. Don't bother me. I'm taking my glasses off.
That's funny.
I love it.
Dogs, cats, or all animals?
Dogs.
Dogs, yeah.
I can't do cats. I'm
No,
sorry.
I'm definitely afraid of birds.
Yeah, birds.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like rodents and all that stuff. It's
No.
dogs.
Just dogs, yeah.
Just dogs. Maybe a
Something
horse.
small that makes you happy right now.
Oh my goodness, something small that makes me happy right now. Well, Cass, show her your little figurine things. That makes you happy, right?
No, I don't want to do that.
That's
Do
small.
yours.
Something small that makes me happy right now.
Yeah, my daughter.
Right now.
It is.
Something small that makes me happy
It
right
could
now.
just be right
Oh,
now in your
hey, girl.
season of life, so.
What's your season right now?
Oh, Sims. I'll say that.
Oh, see,
That's
Oh,
what
nice.
small playing Sims I think makes me happy. Or no, actually, I changed my mind. Going on Pinterest. Just
Ah.
sometimes just going on there and
going to
creating
yeah.
a new board, on Pinterest for whatever. It doesn't have to be anything special. That.
Mine is these people, these little
So cute.
Japanese dolls. I don't know what they're called, and I'm not gonna try to come up with it, but they're little like Japanese figurines. I like getting those. And then also my child, she's my favorite. She's not that
Yeah,
small.
absolutely.
Small.
That's funny. I don't know if you guys ever watched Roseanne growing up or anything,
yes.
but there's the bingo episode where she goes with all her trinkets. My desk is like that. Like I have tons of little trinkets like that. And I always say it's my Roseanne moment. So
Yes. Oh my god.
And I love The Sims. I've been playing Sims since I was like 10 years old.
I wish
That's
we played
like
it when we were young.
Yeah.
yeah. So it is it's fun. I love The Sims. It is so relaxing. Oh,
Yes.
it's so much fun. I like to build though. I just like to build houses. Like I cheat
I
and give
just
my Sims
like
like
to build stuff.
$1 million.
I
Yeah.
know it. Mine is
Yeah.
decorating the house and, like,
Yeah.
creating a character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a lot of storyline, but that's fine.
That's okay.
That's great, though. I love those. Those are absolutely amazing. Well, thank you guys so much for being here today. Thank you for your honesty and for trusting this space with your story. Conversations like this help people recognize that they're living through and remind them that they're not alone. If this episode brought anything up for you, support is available in the US. You can call or text 988 or contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. Additional resources are linked in the show notes. Take care of yourself, trust your instincts, and remember your voice matters. Bye.
Bye.
All right, friends, that's a wrap on today's episode of Auntie Mel Mel Life Unfiltered. Thank you for spending this time with me and stepping into the real, the raw, the messy, and the magical, because you know we don't do surface level here. If this episode hit home, made you laugh, or helped you feel a little less alone, go ahead and follow the podcast and share it with someone who might need it too. And remember, you are never too much, never too little, and never alone on this wild ride. I'll meet you back here next time for more truth, more feels, and more unfiltered goodness. This is Auntie Mel Mel signing off. Stay real, stay kind, and stay unfiltered. Thanks for hanging out with me today. This is Auntie Mel Mel. If this episode made you laugh, think, or feel a little less alone, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Sharing it really helps this community grow. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, and right here on YouTube. I'll see you in the next episode of Life Unfiltered.